From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. Southwestern School District in York County has struggled with several anti-LGBTQ plus issues in the last 2 years and accepted policies considered extreme by some parents. Earlier this year, the board passed a measure giving parents the right to censor and ban books. They also passed another measure targeting transgender and non-binary students by giving teachers the right to refuse using the students' pronouns and chosen names. In a move making that policy even more egregious, the policy mandates teachers inform parents if their student is requesting to be called by a different name or pronoun. Now the district is drawing scrutiny for its plan to install windows in gender-inclusive bathrooms, allowing teachers and other students to look inside. School Board President Matthew Gelazella said the renovations would impact only public areas of the bathrooms. As Southwestern School District engages in renovating multi-user restroom facilities, it has an interest in opening a view into the non-private areas of those facilities in similar fashion to what has existed for years in our elementary schools, he wrote. In making the area outside of stalls more viewable, we are better able to monitor for a multitude of prohibited activities such as any possible vaping, drug use, bullying, or absenteeism, as if none of those things could possibly take place in single-gender bathrooms. Gelazella distinguished the boundaries of the space inside the bathrooms. The current district policy states, in any facility in a district school that is used or is intended for use based on gender identity, in which a person may be in a state of undress in the presence of others, school personnel shall provide private changing areas for use. Areas between our stalls and sinks in multi-user restrooms are not private changing areas under that policy. Southwestern undertook the project in consultation with the conservative Independence Law Center, which is seeking to influence policy in school districts throughout central Pennsylvania. The board has already approved spending for $8,700 for the cutout windows. But critics of the policy decry it as an invasion of privacy and a concerted effort to monitor and intimidate LGBTQ plus students. There has been a progression of policies that have been provided to the school district by the Independence Law Center, said Eric Stiles, executive director of the Rainbow Rose Center in New York, an advocacy group for the LGBTQ community. He fears this latest bathroom policy will have far-reaching adverse impacts. Stiles, who has spent years advocating for victims of domestic violence, said he is also worried that young people who are victims have lost a safe space. Entire schools are supposed to be safe spaces where children and youth can learn and grow. For that safety zone to be reduced to gender-inclusive bathrooms, which will soon include windows for bullies to look through, well, schools in the Southwestern School District are no longer safe places for transgender and non-binary students. In campaign news, while speaking to supporters in Pennsylvania over the weekend, former President Donald Trump continued his attacks on transgender Americans, while also suggesting that a state-sponsored day of real rough police violence would reduce crime. While outlining a long list of promises to his right-wing supporters, Trump vowed to keep men out of women's sports, a common rhetorical spin on the plan to ban transgender people from participating in athletics. We will deliver low taxes, low regulation, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford things like groceries, a car, and a home, and have money left over, Trump began, before going on to the list more nefarious proposals. We will stop the invasion and migrant crime, strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield over our country, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. Trump used the phrase transgender and insanity, and that appears to describe, well, trans people just existing in society. And he said it not once, but twice over the weekend, as well as deploying the phrase while addressing a crowd in Wisconsin, according to the Advocate. And finally, we close today's news with this information from the Pennsylvania Equality Project. The Pennsylvania Equality Project is conducting 2 ongoing surveys. The first is the Housing Affordability and Sustainability Survey, which is open to LGBTQ plus people who are 18 years old or older and who live in Pennsylvania or are attending school in Pennsylvania and reside within PA while classes are in session. The second survey is the Education and Employment Discrimination Survey for 2024, which measures the extent to which discrimination, harassment, intimidation, and bullying are happening to the LGBTQ community in Pennsylvania while they're at work or at school. The survey is open to all Pennsylvanians regardless of age. Both surveys are open until December 31st and are available by going to paequality.com and clicking the survey link for further directions. That's a quick check of the news at this hour. Now back to more of your favorite music on Pep Radio.